Good morning, Julie. Good morning, everyone. Nice and bright today. Just give it a wee minute for people to come on. Hi, Philippa. Hi, Brian. I've got a bit of a tickly cough today. There we go. Hope everyone's had a lovely weekend. Mine was very busy. Yeah, nice to be back again. Back to normal. Hiya, Jeanette. Wow, international we are today. It always amazes me that people from all over the world can just tune in at any time. It's amazing. Morning, Jenny. Hi, Angie. Right, let's get it on. There's a few on. It's obviously very busy on a Monday, isn't it? People at work and all. But that's the good thing about catch up. So, we're going to make today the backpack and a little card to go with it. So, I think the one I did for Julie was have fun at the first day at school. So, I thought I'd change it up a little today. It was actually Elaine Goodwin who gave me the idea to change it up, because she said she'd love one for a granddaughter who's just about to be 3. So, I thought I'd make one for a happy 3rd birthday, showing that you could use it for any occasion. And if Elaine wants it, then she can PM me and I'll send it to her, because I don't have anybody who's 3. But there you go. So this is what we're going to use today. We're going to use Philippa's gorgeous Live Life in Full Bloom stamps. I love these stamps. These stamps always remind me of I don't know, like a 70s cute Mary Quant vibe. Really love them. So, morning Francis, morning Donna. And then I'm going to use the brand new Family Medley die set from Hazel. The Sentiment Medley die set 4 from Hazel. Hazel's Medley number set. And I'm also using the very first 2 sets, I think, that came out of Hazel's, or 1 set, with the happy birthday on it. So, you know, if you've got them all, then, like Julie said the other day, you can mix and match and make anything you want on the front of your card. Make your card say anything you want. So I'm going to move these out the way. Morning, Andreen. That's all right, honey. Nice to see you. So, first thing we need is 2 pieces of card that will be for the main body of the bag. And they measure, the both of them, and you're going to do both of them exactly the same. They measure 8.5 by 8 centimetres. No, sorry, 8.5 inches by 8 inches. Okay, where am I? Centimetres. I don't use centimetres. Right, so what we're going to do is put the 8.5 across the top, and we're going to score down all the way to at 5.5. and at 7.5, and then at the 6.5 point, if you get out a ruler and put your ruler across at the 5-inch mark, then at 6.5 here at the top, I want you to score down only to the 5-inch mark. Okay, and you do that on both of them, and then you rotate it round and you score it across at 6. Okay, so having done both in exactly the same way, this is how you cut them. All right, so we are going to remove this bottom rectangle. So cut up to the first fold from the bottom and remove that rectangle. There. Okay, then we're going to trim a little bit off the top, just a little wedge. So that one's come off the top. Turn it around. That one's come off the top just a bit, and that one's come off there. Now what we want to do is put a little wedge on this one, up to the fold. Now make sure you cut up to the fold. I can see I haven't there. It's very bright in here this morning. There we are. Okay, and then we're going to trim up the next one to the fold and take a little wedge off of that one as well. There we go. So there's all the pieces cut out that you need. I'm just going to take my rubber and rub these off. You can put a 5-inch mark line there if you wish, just to give you, you know, with a pencil, just to give you the guide to where you need to go. So now you've got 5.5, 6.5 down to 5 inches, and then your 7.5. Now where this 5-inch mark ends, I want you to pop your ruler on and aim it at that corner there, okay? Then get your ball tool and just run it over a couple of times. You can do this on your scoreboard if you want, but it's just as easy to do it with a ruler. And then from the middle of that one out to the next one. And this will give you the sides of your bag a nice shape. There we go. So while we're at that, we can fold all of them backwards, because that's where they're going to be going when the bag's all together. And now fold and burnish all of these lines. I should use my bone folder, but I never do. Okay. And burnish them both ways as well, so it, you know, your bag knows which way it's got to go. I always do that. Helps a lot when putting it together. There we are. Now, as I said, I've got two done. All right. So what I'm going to do is glue one or tape one to the other. Now, I would say, red liner tape for this, but mine has not arrived yet. I'm all out of it. I've been making albums for babies. So let's just burnish this one both ways as well. Okay. So there we go. I have a feeling I put the tape on the wrong side of this, but that doesn't matter. I just need a poker tool now to remove this. Or should I just put it on? Yeah. I'll just take the double-sided off here. I mean, like I said, red line is the best to use, but you can also add a little bit of glue, give it a bit of wiggle time. And then you're going to add this part, onto here. Okay, right up to the fold. So position it at the top, position it at the bottom, and lay it down. Okay, and then this is going to fold around and become the main body of your backpack, right? So there we go. But before we do that, and that is how it's going to go together, like that. If you can see that from the top. Okay, before we do any of that, I want to decorate. Okay, so let's see. We need some panels to pop on here decorated. Now you can just go straight ahead and stamp onto the bag if you want, but just to give it a little bit more rigidity, I have got some panels that I've stamped out. So, and these are using Philippa's lovely stamps. So I'm just going to bring in this thing here. Pop that out of the way. Now these, you need one for the front and one for the back. And these panels measure 5.25 inches by 5.75 inches. Okay, so I'll turn that one over and I'm going to stamp on this. I've already done this one. I've changed up the colours a little this time. I've used oxides, and I've used squeezed lemonade, kitsch flamingo, and instead of the blue this time I decided on wilted violet. So let's go in, bit of random stamping. I'm not using the stamp platform because there's too much moving things about. So I'm just going to wing it and stamp it by eye, as they say. Right, I do need a tissue, wipe the edges of this thing, because I do tend to get it everywhere. And I don't want to mess up the card by stamping it in the wrong place. So, random it is. I love the look of the oxides when you're stamping, because I like the way it's kind of bobbly. I mean, if you want it so that it's a solid stamp, use your stamp platform. But I quite like this. It kind of adds to the, I don't know, it adds to the effect, I think. So, good morning, good evening to everybody who's joined me. I can't really see the comments, but I will, as they say, go back and have a look later. So a bit of random stamping with the pink. And this is the largest of Philippa's flower stamps from that set. And I'll put one there, half on, half off. There we go, that'll do. I do like the white space on this too. Now I've also brought in the medium one and the small one, so I'm going to go in with yellow for the medium one. I'm using these plinth things that I've had for a long time. Main reason because I can't find any of my stamping blocks. I cleaned my craft room and now I've lost everything. So I need to go through it and see where I put them. I've got lots and lots of acrylic blocks. Could I find one? No. So I have to use these. So it's just random. Putting a bit of this colour on as well. You know, take your time. Build up a background. I suppose you could do a huge masterboard first and then cut it up for the size you want, but there we are. One more yellow, and then I'm going to add a little bit of purple as well. Yes, so cute, these stamps, really cute. I've actually got a dress with these flowers on, very similar, and I love it, it's my favourite. Okay, so that one can go away. And now we're going in with the purple. Now this is quite a dark colour, but makes it look a little different than the blue one that I did. So just be careful when you're stamping. And make sure that the whole stamp is covered. There we go. You can't really see too good with this light, can you? No, not really. I should change everything about, but I don't have the time just lately. I don't know why. Things are just busy. Is that enough? I bet everyone's shouting, put one up there, but I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. So, there's one panel. And like I said, I've already done another panel. So these are going to go on here now. I just want to work out which way round I've put this sticky on here. So it sticks. Yeah, that's the right way. So I'm going to put the panels on front and back. I'm going to use glue for this. Bye Jenny, see you later. Right, so bit glue on the panels. I find it easier to decorate these when it's flat, to be honest. You've just got to kind of get your bearings and put it the right way round. How it's going to close. There we go. Okay. So we've got one on. I'm on the back. As I said, you don't have to put one on the back if you don't want to. Or you can just stamp directly on the bag. And this I think could be really cute for anybody really. You could fill it with nail varnishes or for the older kids or, you know, pens, pencils, whatever you want. There we go. So that's them two on. Now it's time to put the things together. Make sure they're on flat. Right, so it's just now a case of bringing it round and popping it on together there. Now, again, use red tape if you wish. I'm going to use glue. And then I'm just going to hold it a wee minute. So that it sets. There we go. And then just add it onto that part. And onto there, and then you can lay it flat and press it down. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Josephine, it's a bit chilly. I came down to my shed and put the fire on for a little while just to warm the place up, but it doesn't take long to warm it. There we are. Give it a good press. So now you've got your basic backpack shape there, and now you just need to put the bottom parts in. So I have put tape on one side already, so I shall remove those backs. There. They take ages, don't they, to get these off? Depends, I suppose it depends on how old your sticky tape is. I tend to use more glue than anything these days, so. Okay, so we're going to go in on that one. I'm putting glue on this one, save messing with the tape. Pop this down. pop this one down and then pop your hand inside it and make sure it's all glued flat. There we go. There we are. Just give it a little minute to grab. Warm down there. It might get warmer here actually by the afternoon, but I've got a lot of crafting to do today. So housework's done, so crafting is the order of the day. So you can see now that the backpack can be closed, no problem at all. Okay, and it's a nice little cute shape, I think, too. I mean, just don't have to close it as a backpack. You can leave it this wide as well if you want and put the backings on and everything, or just close it as a box. It's a handy either way, I suppose. So we've got that done. So now I want to talk about the flap that comes over and the straps for it. Okay, so what I've done is I've got a 5.5 inch by 6 inch piece of card. Okay, and what I've put it up so that the 6 inches at the top of your scoreboard, and I've scored it at 3 3/4 and 4 1/4. Okay, now this is only going to give you this much space when you put it on your bag. If you've got a heavier, a bigger item to put in a bag, then make this wider, and then your bag will open wider, if you know what it's like. You know what I mean. So we've got that. Now, what we need to do is get a bit of masking tape, okay, and we need to pop that on there. Put your tape down and only run it through the front part there, and that will give you, run it through your die cut machine, that'll give you this, yeah? You see that? We all got that? Or you can leave it square, or just take off the corners with the corner around it if you don't want to go, you don't want a fancy little front on it like that. But I thought, well, we've got the dies, so why not make the front fancy? So then we need to have a mat and layer that's going to sit on the top of that. And the easiest way to do that is use the exact same die that you've used on this one. Put it on, get your pencil, draw around the inner edge of it, okay? Then cut it off, and then you'll have the perfect shape to sit on there. And also what I've done is stamped it in the exact same way I've done the panels. Okay, so let's put them two together. Yeah, it's nice to use your dies in as many ways as you possibly can, rather than just do circles, It's nice to do that. And also you can see on the back of it, I have also stamped the same design. So it goes all the way through, okay? And now I'm going to pop this on with a little border either side. There we go. So now we've got that all decorated as well. Simply folded it over and stamped on it. Or you could have put a panel on there as well if you wished. And now it's time to add that to the back of the backpack. So glue up to the very first fold, very first score line, fold line there. And this is now going to go on the back of your backpack. And all you need to do is line it up with that fold. I find it easier if you stand it up, you can see where it's got to go. And just slide it into position and press it down. I hope you can all see this okay. Lift it up, make sure you've got it central. Yeah, it's central, and then just pop your hand in and press it down. Yeah, I like making something a little bit different sometimes as well, Philippa. It's nice, isn't it? There we go. So now you can see, when you fold up your bag, you've got the nice front part on there. Okay, and it's glued onto the back. So the next thing we need to do is make some straps, because after all, it's a backpack. So I have the strips for the strap sizes are 1 1/4 inches by 8 1/4 inches. And I have I think it's 3/4 of an inch. Let me just check. Or it could be 1 inch. I'm not sure. It's 1. And from either end of the strap, I've scored at 1 inch. Either end. And they're going to be the pieces that go onto the back. But I have also stamped the same design onto the handles, just to make it coordinate all the way through. Okay, and now it's time to pop them on the back like so. Okay, so let's do that. Pop them where you want, measure it if you wish, if you feel you need to. I'm going to turn it this way so I can do it. And you want to put the fold right up against the top of this here, so that they start from the very top. Pop it on, leave it to dry, then you get your other one, and then just eyeball that and try and get it the same width across there. Like I said, if you really want to, you can measure it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to by eye it. So pop them on, and give them a little minute to dry, and then they're going to go down to the bottom as well. So they do need to dry properly. Actually, I probably should have used hot glue just for the purpose of this, but there you go. While they're drying, I'm going to pop that one down on the bottom. That one's caught well now. And you've got that little sort of bend and fold in them. And pop that one right at the bottom, so there we are. Line it up against the bottom. Thank you, Cynthia. It just takes a little minute to catch, doesn't it, really? There we go. And then this one can go down as well. And then while we're doing that, we'll have a little chat about the dies that I've used. Pop that one on there as well. Okay. There we go. Okay, dry, please, nicely. Thank you. Pop that over there. Now, as I said, I've used the words from all of those stamp sets. And when I put the photograph of this one up, I'll put the actual things that are used on there. So this one, happy 3rd birthday to our granddaughter. So you can have it either way round. So what I'm going to do is pop to our granddaughter on the front of the bag flap. And I've got some foam pad here. So I'm going to put granddaughter on first so I can see where the spacing's going to be. Grand and daughter. You know, you can do this in the boys' colours as well. Grandson, now that we've got all those fabulous words. So granddaughter. This one's stuck, yeah. So she sticks it down wrong. Move it over a little. Granddaughter, move it up a little. So it lines up with the other G. And then I've got 2 hour. Hour and 2. Yeah, I'm going to pop it there. 2 hour granddaughter. Okay, and I've got happy 3rd birthday life. So what I thought I'd do is make a little card to go on the inside. Very simple. Very simple. And the card base folded measures 5 3/4 by 5. Okay. And then I have a panel which is 5 1/2 by 4 3/4, stamped in exactly the same way as you've seen me stamp the others. That's going to go on the top. But first I thought I would wrap some ribbon around this just to fancy it up, because it's quite a simple card, you know, a very simple card. But I think the backpack makes it quite cute. So I'm going to pop a ribbon around the side and let it catch on the sticky behind. There. And then I'm going to pop some glue over it so it will stick down. And pop it on the front of the card. You can use foam pads if you wish. Give it some dimension, because the backpack will allow some dimension to be put inside it. So on we go. try and put it straight. There we go. Now, what I want to do here, if I've got a decent pair of scissors, is tie a little knot. Yeah, I quite like a knot. Or you put a bow on, up to you. Tie a wee knot on there. Like that. And then just trim the ends. Like I said, very simple card. These are great little cards for batch making. You know, put them in a little box like this. Give them to your chums or sell them on your craft stalls. So, simple card. And now I'm going to use the happy 3rd birthday. So it's to our granddaughter, happy 3rd birthday. And like I said, Elaine gave me this idea. So if Elaine wants this for her granddaughter, PM me your address, hon, and I'll send it to you. Happy third birthday. And there's a bit of room on there, or you could put a name on the front or any of those things. So quite a simple one, but it will fit inside the backpack. Now the only thing I need to do now, so you can see that they go together really cute. I kind of like that purple, to be fair. Right, so I'm going to pop the card inside it, and then to finish, I've got my glue gun plugged in, and the way to do this, if you're going to fill it with things, is to use Velcro, hook and loop, just a little bit of glue on the back. And now I'm not going to open this back up again until it's dried, okay? So I'm going to pop that on there, because I have a tendency to try and open this to show you it again and then rip the Velcro off before it's even dried. So I'm not going to do that. And then I'm going to put some glue on the front of this, just a little bit, and then I'm going to position it where I want it, and I'm going to hold it down. Okay, so there you go. Not very difficult, but a really cute thing. I'll take some photographs of it, and I will send you, put them up, and I'll send it you to Elaine if you want it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Not a very long demo, but nevertheless, and I hope you all managed to follow okay. So I'll just pop that down there and move this lot out of the way. There you go. Easy, easy, half an hour's worth. Now you can all get on with your day. So thanks so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see the ones that you make. So ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.